you've led your club in scoring 6 out of the 7 seasons that you've been in Europe. You're the top scorer of the Canadian national team at 25 years old. Why is scoring goals so easy for you?
For me, it's almost, as the years go by, it becomes almost second nature.
Joined by a very special guest, Canadian international, Juventus striker, Jonathan David. Growing up, did you think it was even possible that a Canadian kid from Ottawa could play for a club as big as Juve?
To be fair, no. I wasn't even thinking about, is it possible to play for these big clubs? It was just to try to become pro.
Do you think that as a Canadian, you almost have to work twice as hard to get the respect of clubs in Europe as opposed to maybe South Americans or European footballers?
You have a Canadian player, you have, I don't know, a Brazilian player, a French player. You have more tendency of going to the French guy than the Canadian. That's just how it is.
There's a fellow Canadian icon who you also share that nickname with, Drake. Who had the nickname first?
I haven't heard of anything to do with Iceman and Drake until up to this year.
Do you feel like you're underrated?
People will think what they want to think, so.
How's it going, everybody? Jason Lissick-Machado of the Footy Culture here with Fubo, joined by a very special guest, Canadian international and Juventus striker, Jonathan David. Johnny, how's it going, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I want to get right into it. A lot of people call you the most underrated striker in Europe. Do you feel like you're underrated?
A little bit. But no, I think it's normal. There's a lot of great strikers in the world. People will think what they want to think, so it's life, huh?
Mm-hmm. I like that energy. You're the first Canadian to ever play and score for one of, if not the biggest club in Italy, Juventus. Growing up, did you think it was even possible that a Canadian kid from Ottawa could play for a club as big as Juve?
To be fair, no. Like, growing up, I wasn't even thinking about, is it possible to play for these big clubs? It was just to try to become pro, but, as the years go on and you start coming into the professional world, that's when you start believing more that, that after one good season, maybe something can happen.
100%. And being a Canadian footballer, do you think that as a Canadian, you almost have to work twice as hard to get the respect of clubs in Europe as opposed to maybe South Americans or European footballers? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so, because obviously the South Americans, the Europeans are more known to be quote unquote good at soccer. So for them, it's a bit more of a given than, for North Americans that have a lot of different sports, that soccer is not the number one. So then obviously if you see you have a Canadian player, you have, I don't know, a Brazilian player, a French player, you have more tendency of going to the French guy than the Canadian. That's just how it is. So yeah, I think so. You have to work maybe more than, and also show more than what he can do.
Incredible. So with that said, when young kids in Canada watch you or dream of being like you, what do you want them to take away from you? Is it, your career path? Is it your style of play? Is it your mentality? What would you like them to take away from your game?
I would say the career path, the mentality. I think those are things that are very important, because obviously being in this environment for many years now, you start to see why the mentality is so important and why you have to have a top mentality to stay at the highest level. Because if not, then football can go very fast.
100%. And that's the mentality that's needed, because Jonathan, you've led your club in scoring 6 out of the 7 seasons that you've been in Europe. You're the top scorer of the Canadian national team at 25 years old. I want to ask you, why is scoring goals so easy for you?
It's not, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's not easy, but since I've been a striker almost my whole life, even when I was a kid. So for me, it's almost, as the years go by, it becomes almost second nature. it's not that you have to practice it anymore. Almost becomes like instincts. So that's why maybe it looks easier than maybe what it can be.
And speaking of that second nature, this is a popular debate online. Do you think that strikers are born finishers, or is it something that you could really kind of train into yourself?
I think it's something that you can train. Obviously, there's certain things that you just feel as a striker, but other than that, I think for it to become very natural, it's because you train it so many times that now you don't have to think about it. So I think it's a bit of the mix of the both.
As you know, strikers are judged by goals, but what's a part of your game that you wish people talked about more?
It's hard to say, really. Hard to say because obviously, I think I'm pretty clever in my movements, but I think this has been something that has been talked about lately, mostly because of Jesse Marsh. But yeah, I think maybe just the cleverness to my game.
100%. Because recently I interviewed Promise David, one of your Canada teammates, and he said that you have the highest IQ on the national team. What do you think about that?
That's a nice compliment to receive. Obviously, I know I'm not the fastest guy, even though I'm still pretty fast, so I have to adjust in different ways. So I try to think, but I think there's a lot of smart guys on the national team as well.
Jonathan, your nickname is Iceman. There's a fellow Canadian icon who you also share that nickname with, Drake. Are you a fan of Drake? And who had the nickname first?
Obviously, I'm a fan of Drake. He's been in the game for I don't know how many years. Since I was a kid until now, he's still probably up there with the best artists in the world. So yeah, I'm a fan of him. I haven't heard of anything to do with Iceman and Drake until up to this year. And so for me, I think I'm the first one.
I like that. I like that. I want to move on to the Derby d'Italia. What changes in your mentality when you know you're stepping into a game that the whole country is watching?
Yeah, normally you wouldn't try to change much because you want to approach the game, the every game the same way. But I think in a game like this, it's just to find that little bit more inside of you, a little bit more aggressivity, more running. Just, the want has to be more in a game like this than any other game, I think. And that's what makes the differences in these kind of games. It's the little details, the team that wants it more, that's willing to fight more.
How do you find that balance between, this game is just another occasion, just another game, but also embracing the magnitude of it? It's a big game, the biggest rivalry in Serie A. How do you keep that balance?
Yeah, it's not always easy. I think it's just through experience, through experience that you have every season playing in those big games and having to control your emotions and to stay level-headed like you try to do in every game. But obviously, we know that there's always one or two games in the year that's always different for us players and also for the fans. So it's just a game that you have to try to give more.
Now, I want to get into a few rapid fire questions, some fun questions with you. So, first question, who's the best player you've ever played against?
Um, Messi.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, there's no arguing with that one.
Definitely. But on the flip side, who's the best player you've ever played with?
That is a good one. The best player I ever played with. I think if we speak about like career and what he's accomplished in football, I think Jose Font is a good one to put up there.
Was he like a mentor for you when you first got to Lille?
Yeah, he was actually the first player I've ever met when I arrived in Lille. Just my signing day. He was just getting treatment in the physio room after everyone was gone already. So just shows his professionalism and why he still plays at his age right now.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, when I first arrived, he was kind of a mentor for me and for the younger guys. Maybe he's older than us, but I think he has a very young soul. He's someone that loves to joke around, have a laugh, but when it's time to go, he's the first one to be very serious.
Who's the most underrated teammate that you've had? Maybe a player who doesn't get the love, but you see him in training, you see him in the games, and he's a baller.
Um, there's a couple to be honest. I think Angel Gomez is up there. I think for a player of, I think just because of his size, maybe sometimes he gets overlooked. But if you have this guy on your team, you know how important he is to the group and what he can bring to the team.
Definitely. Now, I want to ask you, who would be your dream strike partner for a retired player? So, what legend would you have loved to play alongside a striker?
I think I have a couple in mind. I think Thierry Henry, Drogba, Samuel Eto'o. Yeah, I think that would probably be my top three.
What's your favorite part about Canada?
I think being in Europe for so long, I think for me is the fact that it's just everything is just bigger. Everything is just bigger. It's like you have like your own space. You have space to do whatever you want. The roads are bigger.
Mhm.
But I just, Canada for me is home. So it's always a place close to my heart that I appreciate. Always when I have time to go back, I go back and spend time with family and friends. So yeah, for me, this is home.
Who's the funniest teammate you've ever had?
To be honest, I have like five in mind. Uh, I have two in Ghent that I played with, Dylan Mbayo, Ibrahima Cisse, two guys that every day in training I would always laugh. When I was in Lille, I had Edon Zegrova, Timothy Weah. I think Renildo was also a big one. Here you have Weston, you have Pierre Kalulu. So I think in all the teams I've been, there's always been a lot of funny guys, which for me is great because I'm someone that even though I look very serious, I love to have a laugh, to not be serious and to have a space where you can just joke around.
Are you ever cracking jokes in the locker room?
Oh, not so much. Not so much.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time people just laugh because of just the way I am.
Now, last rapid fire question here. Let's say FIFA gave you the power to change one rule in football tomorrow. What rule would you change?
To be fair, easiest one for me is I would just take out VAR and just kept it as it was before. Or I think even a better one I think is the 8 seconds for the goalkeeper that just started. Just let it how it was and let's move on.
Yeah. What do you think about if you get fouled in the box, the person that gets fouled has to take the penalty? Because we see in basketball, whoever gets fouled shoots the free throw. What do you think about that one?
It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one, but I think as a striker, obviously, I don't care who gets fouled. I will want to take the penalty because it's a chance to score. So I see both ways, but yeah, I think out of the ideas, this is probably one of the best ones.
Now, I want to move on. I want to do with you blind ranking legendary strikers. So I want you to blind rank these five legendary strikers without knowing who comes next. So I'm going to give you five names. So, first one, Thierry Henry.
I'll go number two,
Number two, okay, that's high. Samuel Eto'o.
number three.
Number three, Didier Drogba.
I'll go number four.
Number four, okay, you're saving that first spot just in case.
There's always a good one that comes last, so I have to save the number one.
Next one, Ronaldo Fenomeno, R9.
Number one.
That's hard to debate.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he's the best striker that's ever played the game. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
Incredible. And last one, Wayne Rooney.
Number five.
Are you satisfied with that ranking? Would you change anything?
I think I think it's very decent. I'm happy with it.
It's a pretty good ranking. I think it worked out well.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the only ones maybe I could switch, maybe Thierry Henry, Samuel Eto'o, maybe, but I'm happy with it.
Would you say those three, like Drogba, Eto'o, Henry, those were your idols growing up?
Yeah, for sure. These were maybe not my idols growing up, but mostly the examples of strikers that I've watched. Obviously, their games were pretty different from each other, but I feel like there's always something you can take from each of them and add into your own game.
Final question here. I want you to finish this sentence. In 5 years, Jonathan David will be blank.
Still playing.
I like that. Comfortable.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Amazing. But with that said, Johnny, I want to thank you for taking the time. Incredible chat. I want to wish you the best of luck for your first season at Juve, for Canada next year at the World Cup, and appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this interview with Jonathan David. It was a fantastic chat. Got to learn a lot about the young Canadian. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.